Greetings, legends. It is Nick here from Key Issues, and today we have our first look at Spider-Man Far From Home, and a number of questions and theories will undoubtedly come out from this, but it's clear that we have to start with the most hype part of the trailer. Like many of you, I actually did cry tears of joy while watching this trailer and finally seeing a live-action version of Mysterio take flight, and everything looks really super accurate as well. I was very impressed. I always figured that the classic Quentin Beck Mysterio outfit from the comics could never and would never make its way to a feature film. But here he is fully realized in live action, and not only does he have his signature fishbowl helmet, but the rest of his costume looks pretty accurate to the comics, just kind of, modernized. However, I started to notice a lot of things in this trailer, and because I'm an obsessive person, I went back and I rewatched it over and over again, and I deconstructed it, and then I think I uncovered the majority of the deceptions that this very purposefully vague trailer has hidden. Now, because this is YouTube, of course I'm going to have a theory about what I saw, and that theory is fairly simple. Mysterio is actually Captain Marvel, and I think it's obvious that he might be. He can fly and shoot blasts of energy out of his hands. We don't really know what happens. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, that is not my theory, but I do have a real theory here. Many people were shocked to see Mysterio apparently functioning as a hero in this trailer. And I don't know, he kind of looked like a hero to me, but Mysterio is clearly shown fighting a giant water monster. Now, considering water monsters aren't something that are, things that exist in the MCU up until now, we have to deduce who this monster is. And that is kind of what started to break me. I just couldn't believe what everybody else is saying, and a lot of people out there are saying that this is Hydro Man, and trust me when I say that it is absolutely not Hydro Man. It can't be. And a lot of news sources are reporting that this is Hydro Man and he's going to be the main villain, but I have a few issues with this, and I need to get them out in the open with you. So go ahead and put on your special licensed Key Issues tinfoil hats, but I promise you I've done some deep research on this theory, and it's not just another one of those YouTube, ooh, let's throw a bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks to try to get clicks. This is gonna line up, I promise. Hydro Man is not the main villain of the film. The trailer makes it look like Spider-Man and Mysterio are going to be allies, and that brings a few questions with it, like who the hell is this Mysterio anyway? Is he like some freelance hero who's out in the world trying to make a big difference, or is he a S.h.i.e.L.D. operative that's out there working for Nick Fury, who, by the way, we see introduced to Spider-Man for the first time ever in this trailer? Or is he just a guy on vacation who was pushed a little too far? No, that one is probably not it. So because of the whole Hydro Man issue and the fact that it looks like Mysterio is clearly a good guy, I needed to do a little bit more research, and I started looking at some online resources, and I could not find anybody that looked like he would be a suitable Hydro Man in the cast. But I did find this actor, Numan Akar, and next to his name, he's cast as Magnum. Okay. In the comics, Magnum is an elemental being who controls the Earth, which would totally explain this giant fucking Earth monster shown. So you're probably thinking to yourself, Nick, do you really think that the elementals are going to show up in this film? And the answer is no, but I do want you to buckle in because what I'm about to, kind of break down might end up being rock solid spoilers for Spider-Man Far From Home. So here is my theory, and I needed to give you all that background information before I got to this part, but despite the fact that Mysterio looks like a hero in this film, he is actually the bad guy. He is out in the open, creating elaborate illusions, and then coming in, saving the day in order to boost his clout as a hero, possibly for monetary gain. So let's Tarantino this thing and go backwards. We've already seen a giant Earth monster shown. Now, we also see Peter fighting what looks like Hydro Man or a water monster. Okay, so now we have two monsters, one that's a giant earth monster, one that's a water monster. Next, we're also seeing a fire monster. Holy crap, so now we have three different monsters, fire, earth, and water. And then the very last element is this scene where the London Bridge is shown and you see a massive storm, possibly an air monster. So let me ask you a question. Do we think that this movie has a earth monster, a fire monster, an air monster, and a water monster all as villains? Or is it possible that maybe all of these are elaborate illusions created by Mysterio in order to cause trouble? The name Magnum that this character, played by Numan Akar, is shown could just be the code name that this actor is using in order to play that Earth Elemental. Now, there's even more evidence here when you see the character of Mysterio say, "You don't want any part of this." And that's exactly what somebody would say if they were trying to keep Spider-Man, or more particularly other heroes, out of a fight that they've already rigged themselves to win, keeping all of the limelight for themselves. The only reason I'm even going down this what-if path is because in the first MCU Spider-Man film, it had a really big twist. During the scene when Peter's picking up Liz at her house, it's revealed that Liz is actually the daughter of Adrian Toomes, and that was a really big bombshell moment. I remember the air literally getting sucked out of the room because no one in my theater saw this coming, and it changed the entire dynamic of the film. It wasn't about Peter versus Vulture anymore. It was about Peter having to make a moral decision to separate his desires as Peter Parker with his responsibilities as Spider-Man. Ultimately, Peter made his decision and he had to live with those consequences. So I know this is only 2 minutes of footage and it's kind of impossible to tell the story, but it just isn't adding up. I even went ahead and translated what was on the television, and it says, "A creature made of water emerges from the big canal and threatens the whole city." And then the second part underneath of it translates to, "The mystery man fought with the creature." So it's clear that Mysterio is benefiting from positive media coverage. Even Flash Thompson likes him. I think that this trailer and subsequent trailers are just grand illusions designed to create a shocking reveal, and that kind of perfectly aligns with Mysterio's origins. When Mysterio's career in the comics wasn't moving, a friend jokingly told him that the fastest way to stardom was to take down a costumed hero, so that's exactly what he did. What if Mysterio, a guy who's always been bad in the comics, is actually bad in the film? What? He's a hero who's trying to gain notoriety, and he's doing it off the back of Spider-Man. In the comic books, Mysterio picks Spider-Man because he's young and inexperienced, and that makes sense that he picks him here too, because in the MCU, Spider-Man is also very young and inexperienced. This motivation fits exactly with his MO in the comics, and it's adapted to make sense within the context of the universe that they're in. Now, I'm not going to go too far down this rabbit hole, but at this point, I'm not even sure that the man we see in the trailer is actually the real Nick Fury. After all, in the comic books, Mysterio is a master of disguise. It's entirely possible that this isn't even the real Nick Fury. It's Mysterio trying to lure and edge Spider-Man into going places so that he can upstage him. Wait, actually, this is the exact same plot as The Incredibles. This plan may seem very familiar because it's identical to that plan that Syndrome used in the film to gain popularity. A man with no powers uses advanced technology to trick the world into thinking he's a fantastic superhero. Except, he's a scrub. So that's my big theory. I'm sorry it took a bit of time to get around to it, but I think it lines up with the true nature of the character in the comics. And that's about it for this video, but I want to know what you think down in the comments section. Is Mysterio a good guy? Is he a lying liar who lies? What do you think? Let me know. This has been Nick with Key Issues, so like and subscribe if you dig the video, and don't steal my theory. At least share it with friends if you think it's pretty good, and check us out all over social media, and remember the motto, comics over everything.